Hello,
everybody.
everybody.
Welcome to the newest episode of the Gavel Strikes. I'm Xavier Chavez,
And I'm Brian Wiedman.
and Brian today is over a Zoom call, so hopefully we don't
Yeah,
have any technical difficulties. Uh,
unfortunately, there were medical redundancies in place. I couldn't join you guys today. Sorry. So
So,
I can do it remotely. We're all good.
so again, we'll start now today with we have everything from the signature auction and some stuff from the weekly that I've brought for at least the comic book art section of it.
Right.
We have a lot of highlights today, so if anybody has
And a
any comments,
contest. Let's
oh, and
not
the
forget the
contest.
contest.
Yes, yes.
The
The
contest,
contest.
it's probably what everybody wants to hear, right?
It'll also be at the end of this show, but if you'd like to start your whole thing for the contest right now, part of it is to subscribe to our YouTube channel or
Right.
subscribe to our social media. So once you've done that, you can continue on to the process, which we'll explain in a little bit. But to get everything started, let's start with three pieces from the weekly auction of comic book art. And the first piece being this beautiful Al Williamson strip of Secret Agent Corgan. And again, I've been really bringing in strips because it's one of the things that originated comics and comic art. And Al Williamson is one of those prolific artists that was in the EC bullpen. Even before that, he did some Planet Comics that I'm aware of. And he even worked into Marvel, doing Daredevil, which is one of my favorites. And that's when I first learned of him, when he was inking John Romita Jr. and Lee Weeks. Again, Al Williamson was one of those artists that is incredible. He worked with Frank Frazetta on some of the EC stories, some of the most expensive EC stories that we've sold. And again, Daredevil stories, and a very prolific Marvel artist. Here you can see all the detail of his inking. Again, a master at his craft, the depths to create the inking to create depth and texture on the hair and the outfits, and again a beautiful scene on the water in the last panel. So one of
And
my favorite artists. Huh?
I was going to say, I was talking to Todd, yesterday about this because he was showing me something, and we were talking about how the best bullpen ever. I mean, it has to be the best lineup we've ever seen for comics, right? Don't
Oh,
you agree?
again, in that time period, and one of the things that I discuss every once in a while, because that was the best bullpen in that time period, Silver, Golden Age and Silver Age comics. But then you had kind of the same thing a little bit happen with Image in the
True
90s,
story. That's very
where
true.
Jim
Absolutely.
Lee, McFarlane, all these artists that we think of today as the great ones in modern time, they kind of went out and did their own thing with Image, and Image has a lot of place in history, I think, at least with the comic artists.
I don't
So,
disagree with that. I agree with that.
uh,
That's good.
so the next piece here, again, a great, incredible Hulk page with the Hulk in two, well, his feet in one panel, but his full figure in the other, in one panel, and Machine Man in the rest of the panels. Again, by Sal Buscema and Jack Abel. A great interior page that's currently under $1,000 from Marvel, Bronze Age Marvel, with two characters. Again, Hulk in his own title, but Machine Man that you don't usually get that often, and just a great action piece where Hulk is running away and Machine Man is chasing after him. That's again the great panel right there, the fourth panel where Machine Man is just lunging out at you. It's just a great image. And the last one for this weekly is Greg Land's Symbiote Spider-Man page, where he's wearing the symbiote suit in these three panels right here, and you have a great image of Hobgoblin as Doctor Strange or as the Sorcerer Supreme, because this is an alternate universe. Again, Greg Land is an artist I like very much, very clear lines, and he always works with the great inkers like Jay Ladenstein or Matt Ryan that did a lot of work back in the 90s. And just great. He has a way of doing a very nice, clear image, no scratchy work or anything like that. It's just beautiful inking and nice splash in this piece. And again, I think this is currently under $500.
Yeah.
So just Such a
I
great
gotta
piece.
say, Hobgoblin's the whole reason I got into Spider-Man as a main thing and why I wanted to collect the run. It's what I started with. 251 was my first Hobgoblin book. When they thought they had gotten the identity of Hobgoblin, but you find out it's not, and then so I had to collect everything Hobgoblin, and then I went back and collected everything Green Goblin. It was everything I needed. I loved it.
Again, the goblins are, yeah, for Spider-Man fans, the goblins are always that great villain that always comes at you. And Hobgoblin's a little bit, I think, more maniacal than Green Lantern. I mean, Green
And
Goblin. So,
and very, very calculating, yeah.
so those are the three pieces, and I'm going to hide some of the signature pieces so we can let's do some comics with you, so we
Sure.
can come back and forth a little bit.
Sure, absolutely.
So,
What do you got first? Well,
so
unfortunately, he's going to have to take the lead here in showing me what I'm talking about.
oh, okay. So
So you pull him up, and then I'll talk about him.
again, so you know my OCD, so I put everything in alphabetical order. So
OCD.
we're gonna
That's very
start
true.
with Action Comics. How about that?
Action 13. Oh,
Yep.
great,
So
great.
here we go.
So this Action 13 is unbelievable, and this came out of uh, a single owner family. The father passed away, and it went to the two daughters, and then they contacted me. Because of an email blast, and so you never know how you're going to find things. They had a lot of pre-code horror art. They had the Action 13. The Action 13 is only the second blue label copy we have had in the last 4 years. Let me explain how rare that is. It's beyond belief. This is only the fourth Superman cover. It's the most classic. He's stopping a train, and that had never been conceived of prior to this. So if this book it doesn't whet your appetite for Superman, not much will, because this book has it all. And a 5.5, that's not very normal. I mean, I think 90% of the copies we've had for Heritage have all been restored or coverless. If you really look into our history, there are very, very, very few amount of blue labels.
Again, yeah. No, like you said, we actually were talking about it this morning because of Superman stopping the train. The whole thing of faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's something that have heard. You and I are a lot younger, and we've heard this our whole lives. But back then, I mean, the concept of it was, wow, Superman's really that powerful.
yeah.
It's amazing.
So the next comic we're gonna have, and again, all this is the signature auction. But we
Right.
didn't bring any comics from the
That
weekly,
is
but
true. There is
uh,
nothing in the weekly auction for comic book wise,
yeah,
and Xavier just went over the three for the weekly sale for art.
art,
So
which
everything
ends
else
tonight.
from here on out, right? Everything else from here on out will be signature sale.
Yeah,
Coming up on next Thursday starts.
yeah, it does. That's why we're only 9 days away. I
I
think it
hope
is.
I'm back. I'm going to lose my mind if I miss that auction.
The next one we have is All Star Comics.
Oh, the first appearance of Wonder Woman in a 7.0. I
Yeah.
mean, does it really need to say much more than this? This book obviously has gained popularity. What do you think of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman? I keep hearing good and
Oh,
bad. People say good and bad about it, but personally, I think she's beyond belief.
I like her as the actress again, and what she has been portraying as Wonder Woman. But I can also understand the main critique is that a lot of people want an Amazon, like a more full figured woman, which
I thought she does really well with that. I don't think
she
she's as
does, she
small and
does.
skinny as you think she is, and I think it works really well. She's phenomenal to me. She's great. She fits the role perfectly to me. But that was something I was very surprised about, because I thought we were going to get that larger, Amazonian girl, but they didn't do it. I This is a good replacement in my mind. I think she's
Again,
great. And
I
and you
think
really want an all-star 8, by the way. I mean, yes, we see them a lot, but they don't come about very often. And when they go into collections, they don't come out very often. Um, you know, this book, what's the census on this, Tommy? there can't be that many more above a 7.0. When you get into these grades, you're really going, you're really getting um, harder and harder to get above them. So personally, I would be going after this book. It's a very, very clean book.
Oh, it's beautiful. Again, I've been looking at it over, and it's just the only thing wrong with it that it basically was downgraded to a 7 is has some tanning and it has some spine stress. But besides that, it's a beautiful book.
Yeah, I mean the colors look phenomenal.
Oh, I still
So
see the color separation when you hold it at an angle from the blacks and the greens and the
that's
yellows.
amazing. That's
Yeah,
incredible because
yeah,
that's showing true layering with printing, and it's not easy to see when books have been used.
yeah.
Well, good. Okay, what's our next one, or do you want to go back to art?
We'll do one more and then we'll go back to art.
Perfect.
The next one is your favorite pre-code horror, Chamber of
Pre-code
Chills.
horror. So Chamber Chills 19. This one came out of a crazy, collection too. We got, hundreds of pre-code horror books, and this one just popped up as an 8.5. I mean, it's the classic Misfits cover, and what more can you say to that? We had the original art. What was it, about a year and a half ago? I really, I
Yeah,
really
it was
wish
a
I could have afforded that. But Harvey itself is one of the few publishers to make it through the 1950s. It's one of the five, one of the four or five to make it through. But they are very looked down upon by comic collectors and dealers for a very long time, until certain books like Chamber of Chills started becoming more and more popular with the horror fans. So, there may not be as many as you think of these out there. Even though Harvey printed a lot of books, the 1950s were the 1950s. Getting them, and keeping them through the 50s is very difficult. And the black cover makes it that much worse.
Oh no, yeah. Again, this black cover is great. It only has a couple spine ticks, and
Yeah.
everything else is beautiful
Yeah,
on the
I
book.
actually held that book raw. It was really nice.
Yeah. So how about we start with the signature auction art, and since the Netflix series has come out of Sandman, I thought I'd start with Sandman,
Have you watched it
and
yet?
I haven't actually.
I
I
haven't either. My son said he watched it and he said it's great.
I've had a couple friends that have been watched it, and they say it's amazing. They're waiting for the second season. I've started watching The House of Dragons actually because
Ah,
I can't binge watch. Once I start watching this 11th series, I need the weekend. So here's a page from issue 3 of Sandman, which very early, very difficult to get. Again, Sandman collectors and anybody that's tried to get a Sandman page can understand how difficult it is to pry one of these out of the people that already own them. And this is a page with Sam Keith, which was the first artist with Mike Dridgenberg. And Sam Keith actually thought that his art style didn't fit Sandman, so he actually stepped away from the series early on, and that's why we only have a few pages. And this page is an incredible page. Like I said, we have this page with Constantine Sandman going to try to find his sleep stand, which, if I remember correctly, one of Constantine's old girlfriends has it, and she's using it kind of to get high. But there is another page, a double page spread from issue 4, also in the auction, and that is the first appearance of Lucifer, and it has Morpheus talking to Lucifer on how Lucifer is done taking care of hell, and he just wants to leave. And that was part of the other series, which spawned Lucifer and the TV series that we knew, that was in one of, I think, ABC or CBS.
yeah,
But
that's the same series. And
yeah,
if you've never watched it, it's a great series. But everything's now on Netflix. So
and
if you wanted
what,
to watch it, you can watch it there.
but what's crazy is that Lucifer was a series way before Sandman was, and they've been trying to make a movie and series for years now, decades
Mhm.
actually. And I think they did the smart choice of going with Netflix and making it a long series because the movie just wouldn't have been able to fit everything of the story. And this is one of those stories that, again, it was the one comic book that won the Edgar Allan Poe Award. They changed the rules after that to never allow a comic to win it again, just because they thought the comic medium was below the award. And hopefully today they've realized that that was a mistake.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's ridiculous.
this series was an award-winning series. It's as good, if not one of the best novels ever written. It's instead of having prose, it's all graphics and graphic novel. But this is one of those pages that I'd love to have, and it's way way past. I'd have to sell my dead old one to get this, and I still don't think that I'd have enough. So a beautiful page, and again, somebody is going to be very lucky when they have this one in their
I don't
collection.
know. I'd get rid of the Daredevil one. I would throw that away so fast for that page.
It's tempting. It's very tempting. I
I
will say
I,
that.
I actually mine would be the double page splash. That would be the one I'd go for because I'm a huge fan of that Lucifer show. If you have
I,
not
I
watched it,
I
it's
think
a
a lot of
riot.
people. I think a lot of people are waiting on that one. I don't know. That one's going to surprise a lot of people, I think.
Oh, I'm sure.
Here we have another artist that I like a lot. Again, it's Sam Keith from Sandman. I didn't realize that I brought two Sam Keiths, but this is one of his first things when he started was with Wolverine. Save the Tiger was one of the famous stories in Marvel Comics Presents, and I've always loved his work. I've always loved his Wolverine and the detail work. If you can zoom into this image, all the cross hatching and the detail in the mountain, it, and the detail in Wolverine's hair and shadowing, it's just, again, this must have taken him days to finish, and it's just, again, a work of art, of superhero art. I'd love to have this piece. Again, Sam Keith collectors are very fierce, and I suspect this is going to go for a good amount. The pieces that I brought also are relatively well priced at the moment, but there is still, again, 9 days in the auction, and it is the signature auction, so I expect a lot of this to go crazy. I brought these pieces also. I didn't bring a lot of the big pieces or the featured pieces because everybody gets to see those. You can see those; they pop up.
Right.
There's we use them for marketing all over the place. But these are some of the pieces, again, like I've been pulling out for the weeklies, where it's just uh, right now, well-priced pieces that you can have in your collection. Again, the first two and probably the next two are going to go crazy, but they're not one of the top pieces right now. They're not one of those like Ditko's or Kirby's at the moment.
Right.
But they're, again, beautiful pieces, beautiful title splash that I'd love to have on my wall just as much as I'd love to have the Captain America 101 splash. So
Right. And that is kind of our goal when we do this show is to show you things that we find interesting, either that have a history behind them or have not so much the affordability is a bad word because that's not really true to a lot of people because a lot of things go past their price range, but are alternate items to look at other than the mainstream items that we see every day.
yeah,
We can show you amazing fantasy 15s all day long, every single show in quantity, along with a Hulk 181, an amazing Spider-Man one. But we want to show you things and have you enjoy the hobby overall, like we enjoy it.
yeah. And again, stuff that we like, and I would buy if I had more money. The next piece is one of my favorite pieces as well, and I'm sure
It's
everybody
a great piece.
everybody knows this story. It's the death in the family. It's the actual death of a Robin, and very famously he came back. But this is a 4-issue mini series within Batman, and everybody, I think, has their favorite covers. And this is my favorite cover: the Joker with a top hat and a monocle, looking all dapper, and he could be far from it, but he can also be acting the dapper gentleman if his cynical plan uh, deems it so. So it's just a great cover. It's Mike Mignola, which is incredible, insane. He did all 4 covers. Jim Aparo did the insides, but this is the one. If I had, again, a lot of people like the Bloody Robin, which is the death issue, but
Yeah, we were arguing about that. I really like that cover for some reason. I don't know why, but don't get me wrong, I love the Joker cover. So I,
my
I
my
wouldn't kick
favorite.
either out of my collection ever.
And it's just, and it's not like I'm a villain collector. I really do
Right.
like the superhero, and I like Batman in particular. But Joker is one of those characters that, I mean, he is one of the perfect villains. So,
Right.
and this again, this cover is already at $38,000.
This
So
one's gonna go crazy.
yeah, this is
There's
gonna go
no way this
crazy.
stays under. I can't even tell you. I'm not even
It,
gonna say it. It's
I'm
gonna
pretty
go
sure it's gonna
nuts.
go 6 figures. I'm pretty
I
sure.
I would be shocked if it doesn't.
Let's go to some more comics. How
Okay,
about that?
cool.
So again, we have detectives now. I think you pulled out 3 of them. You want to do them separate, or you want to do them together?
Let's do them separate, but let's
Okay.
split them up. So I know you want to go in alphabetical order, but let's not do them all at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we have the first Riddler.
First Riddler, yeah, Detective 140. The reason I kind of like this is it's an 8.5. I got to auction off the Promise one. The highest known copy. And I think that really brought attention because of the high price to the lower graded books. Now this is an 8.5, not low grade by any means. The yellows are still unbelievable. The book itself is solid. It is also the first appearance of the Riddler. Who would not want the first appearance of the Riddler in their collection? It's not a nine. I think the 9.6 was the promise. It's not a 9.6, but at that point you're just quibbling over semantics of one little small line and everything else. An 8.5, boy, you would be really happy to have it in your collection, and I would too, especially a cover that hasn't lost its yellows or reds.
No, the yellow really pops on this one. And
That gets so dirty so easily. It's
yeah,
beyond belief. What's the white? What's the page quality on that one?
it's off white to white pages. But
Yeah, I mean
again, look
that's
at the
about as.
background.
Yeah, that's why I asked because the back cover is
It's
really
yeah,
clean.
yeah, it's really white too. So just a
That's a
beautiful
great
book.
book. That's a great book.
So my OCD here. Let's go to Planet Comics.
Planet Comics #1. So I think we have all the planets in this sale, right? The whole run,
Well,
from
yeah,
what I
we have a
remember.
Planet collection.
We have
I'm
a
not.
planet collection, but it's a whole run. And
Excuse me.
again, this 8.5 is something you guys should be dying to get because these books are usually dingy, dirty, falling apart. Fiction House in general was kind of looked down upon too for a long time. Now, there's always been this Planet, the Planet Comics and then the Good Girl Art collectors, but this is a black cover also, and trying to get one of these. And if you notice that the logo has rivets. For the first, I think first 15-ish or so issues had the rivets. They're called rivet covers, and getting the rivets are very hard books. I mean, they are tough. So an 8.5 just sweetens the pot to me. And the colors, again, the colors are great.
Oh, again, and this is one of those series that, as a younger collector, I've always loved these
Yeah,
Planet
I
Comics
was
for the
so dumb.
covers.
I should have been going after those. I should have been going after pre-code horror. I was so stupid. I should, instead of buying modern stuff at the time, I knew I loved the stuff. I just never went after it. I don't know why.
Well, again, it
But
was pricier than a normal comic. So
maybe so, but I could have easily saved 50 bucks at the time. I didn't have bad jobs, or even where I was working, I was blowing my money on cassette tapes for the car. I could have been blowing my money instead on
cassette
comic
tapes, or
books.
cassette tapes, or 8 tracks.
Shut up. Cassette tapes, jerk. uh,
Yeah, let's do another horror one for you. Let's let. and then go back to
Leave
comics,
the weird
comic art.
mysteries for last. Don't. Oh, okay. We'll do the weird mysteries. This book is great. This book is from the Black Cat collection. I'm surprised that doesn't have a sticker. It doesn't have a sticker, does it? I wonder
No,
if that
it's
fell off.
actually from the collection of Nicolas Cage.
It
That's what
is,
it
but
says.
it's also from the Black Cat collection. And so the fact that is this book is tough for a pre-code horror book. Trying to find uh, one of these in any kind of grade is very, very difficult, and you can tell that it's difficult because the price is already at 13,000, and it's more than eclipsed the what the last sale was by something crazy. Again, another black cover, which are very, very common in the pre-code horror genres, are these black covers that show a lot of damage if they do get damaged, but they really make the horror pop when you do have colors to it too. And this is the classic monkey brains cover, where they're pulling the brains out of the skull, and one of the highest collecting books that are around. It is a classic cover, and this book is absolutely going to blow your socks off if you want it. It's great.
Again, it's
That is a classic cover.
it's a messed up cover,
It's messed up, but it is awesome. Who would not want that? I
and
would
it's from the Nicolas
love to
Cage
have that.
collection.
Nicolas Cage and Black Cat. And if you don't know the story behind the Black Cat collection, he amassed, he bought most of the Nick Cage pre-code horror books, and then he bought some of Kirk Hammett's collection from Metallica, and he went after the biggest and the best books for pre-code horror. There were about 800 of them, all highest graded, second highest graded, tied for second highest graded. I mean, things like that. It was a very, very rare to get a lower grade book. And the only reason you found a lower grade book was something like that was because you can't find a 9.0. They don't exist. So getting them, getting just that copy alone was difficult. It's a
Yeah.
great book. I mean, it's gonna just shatter records for that book.
So next, for the comic art, we have another Batman cover, or actually, it's a detective cover, but it's Batman cover,
Yeah.
Detective 780, and it's the Tim Sale cover with Catwoman and Batman in the background. And again, Tim Sale is one of my those artists that I really, really love. His ink wash, I think, is one of the best in the industry. And unfortunately, we will not have any more pieces. And this is one of those pieces that it's a beautiful Catwoman in a beautiful pose. And look at the Batman, the difference in the ink wash. And this particular piece has a lot of, or the tower with the bat signal has very, very heavy inking, which is not usual to Tim. But then you have all this other ink wash and the different shades of gray, creating the characters in the background and the buildings and the clouds. Again, a magnificent cover by Sale from 2002, and just again, any collector would love to have. I'd love to have this cover on my wall. And like I said, we're not going to have any more art by him, so these are the pieces that are going to come out of some collections, and you got to be able to grab them when you can, because
Yeah, that's gonna go in somebody's collection, and you're not gonna see it for
for a
25
very,
years.
very long time. Again,
Yeah,
there's
and by the time you see it again, it's gonna be worth an astounding amount.
Tim had very fierce collectors. Tim has a There's a Facebook group that's just Tim fans of Tim Sale art, and there's thousands of people. So those these types of pieces, when we get them, like I said, I have my Daredevil yellow double page splash and end splash to the first issue, and those aren't going anywhere anytime
Guys,
soon. So
think about 25 years ago when I said I could have gotten these for $100, $50, these books, and now they're worth a lot. And artwork was the same way. You could
yeah,
have gotten things for $150, $250. Imagine what the high prices are now are going to be like in 25 years.
especially
That makes my head hurt.
Well, especially for those artists like Jim Lee's and
Right.
again Tim Sale,
Exactly.
the newer generations and the current generations that are collecting them, they still like them, and we have many years of collecting. Hopefully, to knock on wood, hopefully into the future. So
Right.
the next piece, again, another piece that I love is a What If cover, and this is Bob Layton. What if the Avengers had become pounds of Korvac? And this has everybody on the cover. I mean, what more can you want? It has the Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, uh, and everybody else. All the Avengers, all the galactic beings, with a nice overlay for the title. And again, the What If series uh, was very popular as a cartoon. I think they have a second series coming out, and this is one of those covers that I would love to have on my wall, and it just has all the superheroes. So beautiful piece. Relatively not that expensive currently, so
I know it's not, but the guy on the left underneath the silhouette of the armpit looks like a Guardian from Green Lantern. It does. If you just shave the
it
little
does.
horn hair off his head, it looks
Yeah.
exactly like one. Yeah.
Yeah, just make them bald. Yeah.
You're right, exactly.
So the next piece after that, and it's again these covers. There's several covers that we have in the signature auction, and this one's by Ron Frenz and Al Milgrom, and the Superman one back here, like I said, is by Giordano, inked it, and Ross Andrew penciled it. And like I was mentioning, there's several covers in the signature auction, and I think these two are under $2,000 currently. And there's plenty of the other DC covers. There's plenty of other Marvel covers. Again, not huge names, Jim Lee's or anything like that, but again, Dick Giordano and Ross Andrew are pretty big names, and Ron Franz and Al Milgrom. Al Milgrom was a Marvel editor. He was a prolific inker when people needed last minute stuff. So, and like I said, there's plenty of covers, not only interior pages, covers that you can pick out, and they're going to be relatively relatively affordable compared to like the Mike Mignola Joker cover and the
The
Tim
what if
Sale
page, yeah, or the Tim Sale,
detective
yeah.
cover. So again, beautiful pieces, uh, covers under $2,000, and they're all in the signature sale
I would
in
love
the
that
different sessions.
Avengers. That
Oh,
Avengers with the
again,
swordsman
the swordsman and Hawkeye. I mean,
and
how?
swordsman just came out in the Hawkeye series in
Yeah,
that Hawkeye TV series. What I mean, you couldn't have timed it better. That is a great cover.
again, that's and it's an Avengers spotlight cover. But still Avengers book. I mean, it's just
Right,
like
exactly.
it's like the X-Men books. You have Excalibur, you have X-Force, you have X Factor, and all these characters that we love came out on these books. And again, the main title, like an Amazing Spider-Man cover, is going to be really expensive, but a Spectacular Spider-Man cover is going to be a little bit more affordable. So,
Right.
um, and the last piece before we get into our contest and all that stuff is
Why don't you
this
do a couple
Brian.
comics? Why don't you do
Well, you have three
books?
more comics. You have
I
three
have
more comics.
three? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, cool.
you
Oh,
have
I
three
didn't
more
know.
comics.
Good.
So this is a Brian Bolin Judge Dredd page, and again, Brian Bolin Judge Dredd or Brian Bolin anything is almost impossible to find. He did the Killing Joke, which pages go for $150,000 plus, and this is one page where it has Judge Dredd. Uh, Great image here, Judge Dredd down here, um, doing what he does best, intimidating people, and it's a Brian Bolin page. There was a couple of other Judge Dredd artists at the time, especially in 2000 AD. These pages don't come up that often because it was a British publication, and you, fans will pick them up when they can. We in the last auction we had one of the covers go for over six figures, so we can just imagine one of these pages are going to go for after that cover sold for so much, especially
And
having
not only that, we
Dread.
had the first
Uh,
appearance too, which we never find. I mean,
yeah, we had
to
the magazine, the actual graded magazine, and it
that
was graded
that
by
book, I
PGC.
think there's only 2 or 3 on the census. That's
Yep.
how rare it is. And that went for a fantastic number. I
Oh, it
mean, a
went, yes.
ridiculous number.
again, it's very difficult
Right.
magazine to find because it's a newsprint. It's not. It wasn't like a comic
Exactly.
book or anything like that. And the
Yeah, it's
page,
trying to find the first appearance of the Tick. The first appearance of Tick isn't the Tick one. It's New England. It's a New England comics newsletter,
yeah,
and trying to find that is it's unheard. They don't exist because they were made to throw out,
yeah.
even though that's his first actual appearance with an actual storyline in it. You know,
And for example, Judge Dredd, I'm sure it's going to be impossible, if not non-existing, to find white pages on the newsprint because
right,
all those get tanned. It wasn't meant to be saved.
right,
So, and the fact that
absolutely.
somebody saved it it's even more impressive. So that's the last page for comic art. And the next page is the page for our contest, and we have three more
Yeah, let's do the three
comics here
books, and then
for.
we'll get into that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So since there's two detectives left, I'm gonna
No,
split
that's
them
that.
up.
You can do them. That's fine.
I'm gonna split them up so they're not in order.
This is actually the favorite one I of mine. When it comes to the detectives, I thought a few years ago, the that Clayface was very underrated, kind of like the Parasite for Superman. I really like the Parasite because I grew up with a few stories of him, but I like Clayface too, specifically because of Batman the Animated Series. And this book here is Detective 298. It's the first Silver Age Clayface, and it is also the highest and only graded copy in a 9.6. And as you can tell by the price, it's going crazy. People are trying to get this book, and sky's the limit on this. It's the only one. It doesn't exist any higher,
Yeah, the
and you will find that this
highest
is
graded
going to,
collectors go crazy.
yeah, this one is going to break a few records if it hasn't already. I'm sure it has, but this one is going to shatter, anything even close to it, for Clayface. So, and that will trickle down. That'll trickle down all through the grades, and you'll see price jumps. We tend to see price jumps like that. Not a crazy amount for middle to lower grades, but they still will trickle down. It's crazy.
Again,
That one's gonna go crazy. Um,
again, really nice cover. So
yeah.
here we have Strange Tales from the Forbidden Collection.
For the Forbidden Collection, Strange Tales 110. This is a 9.4. I really can't say much more. It's the first. It's the first Doctor Strange.
And
What
this book
more?
is impossible to get.
And above a 9. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, actually, to be honest with you, I've only had 2 my whole time I've worked for Heritage, and they came 1 month apart this year. Prior to that, I had never gotten it, and I've picked up like 5 or 6 Silver Age runs this year, but the 110 is usually missing. Most people just ignored it. They didn't really care about Doctor Strange, and in this case, this is a 9.4. What
Well,
I just can't even. It's blowing my mind. We have a 9.4 of this book,
people ignored it because Doctor Strange isn't even mentioned on the cover.
right?
The
That has a
the
lot to do with it. Sure,
yeah, the people that
he's
are
the
mentioned,
backup,
eh,
story,
the actual main characters or the main villains that they're introducing is the Wizard and Paste Pot
and
Pete.
Paste Pot Pete. Yeah, and where's Paste Pot Pete now? Yeah,
Uh,
still throwing gum somewhere.
yeah, he's making his paste,
He's making his paste,
biding his time.
stirring the cauldron with the other 2 witches.
And here we have our last comic before the contest, Detective
I
Comics
forgot I
411.
pulled all those detectives, but the whole reason I did is because of the coolness of this. This is another black cover. It's a 9.8, but this is the first Talia al Ghul, and I've always been fascinated with her because of, again, Batman the Animated Series. To me, Batman the Animated Series was the best series on TV. As far as cartoons have ever been, you can't ask for more with that. They did this nice Art Deco style with the cartoon, but Talia was part of that. And then when I was young, I had a treasury book with all the Neil Adams Batman stories, and so the Two Face, first Silver Age Two Face was in there, along with the Talia al Ghul and Ra's al Ghul books, and so I knew about them early on because I like the stories so much. That's what I was reading when I was a kid. Even though I didn't go to DC much, my parents would get me one every once in a while, and that was it. So I would love to have this book. There's only 8 and 9/8 in this grade. So that's why this is going crazy. For a Bronze
Yeah,
Age book, 8 is pretty low.
it's pretty good. It's
Yeah.
I love that cover too. Neil Adams
Yeah.
artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can only imagine what the art would go for.
yeah,
Oof,
it's
that would be
Batman, Neil Adams.
crazy.
Yeah. So
Okay,
now we
so
get into our contest.
yeah, so we're
So
going to give away a book. We're going to give away for you free of charge. We're actually going to pay for shipping too.
this book,
We're going this book, Marvel features Reds. It's gonna Marvel feature one. It's a Red Sonja. I think I said Marvel Showcase to Tommy when I said it. I don't know why I did that, but it's a Marvel feature one. And so these are the contest rules. Save this and please, we're going to show you the art here in a second, but leave a guess in the comments as to your closest guess as to what this Wolverine page is going to go for. It's a page from the miniseries, book
by
number
Frank
4
Miller.
by Frank Miller. So we know it's going to go high. What is it going to go for? It doesn't show Wolverine in costume, but it shows him. It shows him with his teeth bared, and people are really, really excited about this page. I can tell because the bidding's at 23,000 right now. But we're going to use this as our guess because it will move quite a bit between now and the end of the auction.
I, I'm
So
pretty sure he is in his costume. It's just that you don't see it because of the shadowing.
it's no, he's not in his costume. He's in his birthday suit. You
Well,
don't remember the
that's
story?
true. That's true. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So the contest rules are simple. Put what you think the final price will be. That includes
Sure.
buyer's premium. Okay, not just the hammer price with the buyer's premium, and you must leave a comment with that price in the sorry, must leave a price in the comment section
After you
of this
subscribe,
podcast,
after you
and you
subscribe to
you
the
need to subscribe. So
yes,
please subscribe because we are here every 2 weeks for you, bringing you these cool things. We'd like to keep doing that. So we hope good
and
luck to everyone. We
we'd
want you
like
to
to keep
win.
on doing more contests. So
We do. And the popularity of this one will determine, the popularity of further ones. So good luck. And I love Red Sonja, who I would love to have the book myself.
and here's the page again.
And that is the page. So
The page,
uh, the page is a great page. So I mean, if you want a Miller page and you can't afford a cover, I'd be really targeting this page if I were you. Oh, and it's man, it had a Shogun suit on the upper one. I love
oh yeah.
that page. It's
Again,
so
I love
awesome.
this panel right here.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that the negative space and him just saying, "Am I worthy now?" And the next two pages is the fight scene. He's shirtless, but he has pants on. He has pants on.
I don't know about that.
I think
Well, in the next fight scene he does,
yeah.
but
I don't know where he would have put pants on, but that's fine.
Lacey would have lost her mind if she sees if I got the one with he was shirtless. We have a coworker. She loves Wolverine. Loves Wolverine. She lost her mind when she saw this page. So, by the way, just a quick thing: heritage employees and their relatives aren't eligible for this. So,
Oh
if we
yeah,
only get one guess, that's
he
it.
wins it.
He
Yeah,
wins. So,
it's like the Price is Right. One dollar, Bob.
one right.
$1, Bob.
So, I will allow people to go over. X will allow people to go over. It's going to be who's ever closest.
Closest. Yeah.
So, good luck, guys, and that's it for the Gavel Strikes right now. We will be back in 2 weeks after the signature sale, showing some prices. I think we're going to be showing some. I think we're going to be
We're gonna
showing
be
you a
showing this
lot of
guy.
records, and we're going to return with that, or at least return with the results.
Yep.
Okay. So
So,
I am Brian Wiedman.
and I'm Xavier Chavez. Thank you,
You have
everybody,
anything
for.
else, buddy? You guys have any questions for us?
Oh, that's right.
We
I
always
almost
forget
forgot.
questions for some reason.
Anybody have any questions or comments or anything like that? So, if you do, feel free to leave them also with your guesses, and we'll get back to them as soon as we can.
Ah, we're
So
getting guesses. I like that. I'm seeing them flash up. I love
oh,
it.
Ron, I've actually talked to him on Comic Art Fans. And, oh, that's another thing that I was going to mention. We have a Comic Art Fans for comic art that is sponsored by, dedicated to Heritage Gallery. I put up a lot of the highlights there every week, and if anybody wants to send me an email through there or make any comments, I always enjoy seeing what people talk about and stuff like that. So
Right. And you can see on your screen right now how to get a hold of us via email. My screen name here, which shows up, will show you how to get a hold of me on Instagram. And then my number is 214-409-1279 if you want to give me a call, or you can call X at
214-409-1559, if I'm not mistaken.
if you're not mistaken. Just call me instead. If he doesn't know his
I'm
own
pretty
number.
sure it's 1559.
It's 1559. I remember it now that you said it.
So
So, sorry I had to do this remote, guys, but I am in quarantine right now, unfortunately, and hopefully I'll be back soon. And hopefully I won't miss that sale. I'm gonna lose my mind again. Like I said, if I miss that sale, it's gonna be traumatizing.
they should
So,
quarantine you.
no, that's so mean. That is so mean. Guys,
Well,
thank you and ladies, if you're joining us, thank you very much. We do
thank
appreciate it. Please leave a comment with your price and win. You're not winning the art piece, ladies and gentlemen. You're winning the book.
you're winning the comic. You're not winning the art piece. And good
So
luck, everybody.
good luck. Thanks for joining us.